The other thing that I have in my office, mostly because a friend of mine set them up for me, is a crystal grid. And we've talked a lot about intentions. And a crystal grid is a perfect way of giving that intention and amplifying that intention, giving it some oomph. And
Mhm.
you can arrange them however you want to arrange them. You can put them in a specific geometric pattern, or you can intuit any type of pattern that you want. You want the one thing that we do recommend is that you have a middle crystal that's your focus, that's your main crystal, and then you build your grid however you want to build your grid around it. And then you place your intention as you're placing your crystals, you place your intention, whatever that may be, into those crystals. And those crystals are going to amplify that intention. And what I mean by, and I'm going to show it to you again because I just love it. Doesn't have to be this big because this one's a big guy. And you can that would be a perfect middle crystal to bring the energy in and take it up. Take it up to the divine,
Mhm.
however, wherever you want to take it. So,
Mhm.
first things first, choose your intention. And then do what Susan and I do, told our customers, go find the crystals. If you have crystals, like I have a bunch of crystals, I have a big bowl of them.
Yes, I was hoping you were gonna show that.
This is septarian. This is one of the oldest crystals on the planet. And then I just fill it with all sorts of different tumbled stones that have been given to me and I purchased at my favorite rock shop.
Mhm.
But I'll pick and choose what crystal that I want for various intention. I have different shapes. Like I have a star
Mhm.
that's green adventuring, that's also for good luck. And I have this is carnelian. This is great for it's also a prosperity stone.
Yeah, business prosperity, yeah.
Mhm. So I'll use different shapes depending on what my intention is and what I want my grid to do. So
Mhm.
as long as you have that center stone, you can build your grid however big or small. It doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. However big or small you want your grid to be. Some people like I I have friends who would make a grid out of their entire room,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
I have a grid that a friend of mine made underneath my healing table. So I put my clear quartz. I have two of those big papas, and I put those clear quartz underneath my table, and then the grid helps bring the energy around to amplify the healing energy that's going on. And boy,
Right.
my clients can tell a difference when I have moved that grid. And sometimes I have events in my office and I've moved the grid and they're like, something's different.
Right.
Something's different. I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I just took the grid down. And they're like, can you please put it back?
Right. Right. Yeah.
So a grid is there to amplify the intention. And I also grid my room. I have in the corners of my room, I have selenite, I have labradorite, and I have, well, this is the Apache tier, but I have shungite. But shungite's a black stone.
Lucker, mhm.
Yeah, and that also helps keep my room clear of other unwanted energies. And I'm in a multi-use building, so I have people who live above me, and I have other therapists in this building, so I want to keep that energy out. And all I do is I put those crystals in the corners of my room. That's it, and I let them do their work.
Yeah. You know, our last
Labradorite.
session we were oh, sorry,
Go
last
ahead.
session we were talking about, the cleansing your space in your room and all the different
Mhm.
possibilities of how you can effectively do that. And crystals, we didn't go into detail then because we were talking about it here, but crystals are definitely a way to, cleanse and set up your
Mhm,
space to be most effective. And
mhm.
so that's a great way to add to the benefit of what
Yep.
you're providing in your space.
And it's just it's a really simple way of, and you don't it's a really simple way of keeping your space clear. Like, I have selenite in my bedroom. I have gridded my bedroom, and with exactly the same thing. Although I haven't put lavender right there, I have smoky quartz, I have um uh some shungite, and I have selenite. And a lot of it was because I used to live behind a hospice, and there was a lot of grief coming from that. And as an empath, I felt all that. I was like, I don't understand why I'm so sad in my own home. And then I found out I was living behind a hospice, which I didn't know. And because the hospice had moved in after I had bought the house. And so that helped keep, yeah, yeah, that helped keep the energies of the hospice out of my bedroom and out of my house.
Mhm.
So this is a good way if you have neighbors
Neighbors
that
or
are not so
mhm.
nice. And I've also put quartz around my in the corners of my house on the outside
Mhm.
to help keep the energy clear, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So those are all great ways that you can use crystals,
Crystals.
and ways that you can grid. Just every now and then you're going to have to cleanse them